Yeah. Okay. When Perek says Musar is over, that's when it's over. Right. Yeah. Okay. So now where do we leave? Oh, we're starting a new Perek. Okay. So tonight's stuff is not so hard. At least on the surface, it's not so hard. We could make it hard if we wanted. That we could do. We can do a lot of tumling. Okay. So Zok the Mishnah. We're back. We're still discussing all the cases of the husband traveling overseas, and they're coming out with the namonis and all that. Yeah. So Aisha shahalach baila v'tzara. So you have a woman whose husband and her co-wife went, meaning she got left out in the cold. Right? She must really love her Tzara, because the husband left her at home and took the other wife with him on the trip, right? But then they came back and said that your husband died. Yeah. So of course this lady's for sure gonna make it into all the storybooks. You see, I was so upset my husband didn't take me on the trip, and you see what happened? He ended up dying, and maybe I would have died too, right? I don't know. I'm just Milsa B'dichas at the beginning of the daf. Right, but I'm saying, okay, whatever it is. So he went with a different wife, and then she's told that he died. Right. So now, what's her din? She can't get married and she can't get yibum, meaning she's an aguna for the rest of her life. Why? Because how do you know that her husband didn't have a baby with this other wife? Right? You don't know. Obviously, they went out for a while. They went overseas for a while. So how do you know she didn't have a baby? So she can't get married because maybe she needs yibum, and she can't get married to somebody else because maybe she needs yibum, and she can't do yibum because maybe her co-wife had a baby, meaning her husband had a kid. Till she knows that her, if she knew that her tzara was pregnant, then she's okay, right? Because then, assuming once she's pregnant, then she'll know. Fine. Let's say she has a mother-in-law, right? Who went to Medina Sayyam. Yeah. She's not chayshish, meaning we're not chayshish that the mother-in-law had a son, and she needs yibum, meaning the daughter-in-law. Meaning this daughter-in-law, the mother-in-law and the husband went overseas, right? Went to Medina Sayyam, right? So how do you know? And there's no other brother. So how do we know that this mother-in-law didn't have a baby boy when they were overseas, and that this lady doesn't need yibum? Right? So I'm sorry, that she does need yibum, right? Because now she has a brother-in-law. We're not chayshish for that, and she can just get married. She's not Yavam L'Shuk. Yatzasa Meleya. Let's say the mother-in-law goes out full, meaning she goes out pregnant. Chesheshes Reb Yeshua. Chesheshes. I'm sorry. We're chayshid that she had a son, and therefore she's going to need yibum. Right? Reb Yeshua says no. We're not chayshid that she had a baby, which is a big chiddush, because Reb Yeshua is saying that she went out pregnant, and we can still assume that maybe she had a miscarriage, and even if she didn't have a miscarriage, maybe she had a girl, right? So forget about the main point to understand the difference between the Reisha and the Sefer here is that the Reisha, when the husband leaves, there's a chazaka she's gonna need yibum. In the Sefer, when the husband goes with the mother-in-law, the chazaka is that she doesn't need yibum because he was a ben yochid, right? When he left, he was a ben yochid. Because again, chazakas are going to be very important in this stuff. Again, the chazaka and the reisha is that they left, she would need yibum, and the chazaka and the sefer is that when they left, she would not need yibum. Yeah. So zog the Gemara, my hi tzarasa. What is it saying? Her tzara, right? Meaning, why does it say a lashon of where is it? In the Mishnah, when it says vitza, well, the R Mishnah says vitza rasa, right? So what is it? What does it mean? What does the Gemara try to say? We're worried about this tzara, meaning we're concerned that this tzara had a baby, and therefore she cannot have yibum. But we're not chayshid that that there's another tzara, that this guy has another wife who he may have had a kid with, and therefore there's no yibum. Meaning we're only concerned that this tzara may have had a baby. We're not concerned for any other tzara. Fine. So then the Mishnah says, so she's stuck. She can't get married, and she can't do yibum. Right? So bishlami yibum eloi. So it's good that she can't do yibum to dilma mi abra, because maybe the other wife got pregnant for kapaga beishas achta. So it's a suffix daraisa. If the other wife got pregnant and then she does yibum from her brother-in-law, that's mamash eishas achta daraisa chiv kares. So we understand that. But why can't she get married? Right? We go after roiv nashim. Roiv nashim is Miss Abras. Most women do get pregnant, the oldest, and they have babies. So therefore, why can't we just assume that when this husband went out of town with the other wife, the assumption is that at some point that this wife is going to have a baby. So why don't we just go bust a roiv and this woman, and it's a roiv not of it's a roiv of Yevamos l'shuk, which is not kares. So why don't we just say that? So Gemara says, yeah.
The thing that ladies get yoldus muberis and yoledis, how long does that go? Forgetting when they're in menopause, they can't. Does it stop before? She had her first baby when she was 18. And she hasn't had a baby. She hasn't had a baby in 15 years. So when do we say that this just goes till she's physically not possible to have a child?
You mean what happens if she goes out, she's already 50, 60 years old?
Well, that's for sure, I would say. She can't have a child. But before that, she had 5 children in the first 2 years of marriage. She's 20 years old now. She hit 35. She hasn't had a child in 15 years or 18 years or 20 years. But she still physically can have a child. Can we say this cloud that she'll get pregnant and have a baby? Maybe we do. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, you're saying if she didn't have kids for the last 10 years, is there a reason to think that she's going to have kids?
Right.
I hear. I don't know. Pashtus is, you're right, because after we had the previous Gemara, said after 10 years. What?
She should be in the chazaka because she's in the chazaka of everybody else.
Well, maybe she's out of chazaka after 10 years.
Is it a chazaka or a roiv? A roiv you can't leave. The miyat's bottle to the roiv, which is the answer of the Gemara. The meir chaysh miyuta. But even if she isn't,
he's going with a different shita.
Right. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, shita.
But without R Meir, what do we say? Rabbi Yehuda. So she's in the miyut. She's not part of the roiv, but the miyut's bottle to the roiv. That's all the way roiv always works.
Right.
If she they bring down Taisus, as learned by the night Yehuda, the Taka says that if she's after 10 years, we wouldn't go bust the roiv. According to Rabban. It brings down a Taisus of Lamed Zion and Yevamos.
Oh, way back in the 10. Okay, I didn't look there.
Yeah.
I didn't look there. Oh, very good. That's very good, Rabban. So that's what it's saying.
As learned by the night Yehuda. I don't know. It says, I guess there's different ways to learn it to a lot of places.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's a good order. That's very good. Okay. So anyway, so the Gemara is saying, why don't we say that it's R Meir who's chayshish for miyuta? Right? We've had this many times. R Meir holds you have to be chayshish for a minority. So we have to be chayshish for a minority of cases of women that don't have kids. And since we're chayshish for that, she can't get married because she would need yibum. So the Gemara answers, I feel it. We could even say in the Rabbanon, Kiyaz Rabbanon bas ruba de Isa come on. That's when it's a ruba that it's in front of us. Kegain Tesha Chanuyas for Sanhedrin, like the case of Tesha Chanuyas and Sanhedrin. Ruba de Lesa come on, but if it's a ruba that's not in front of us, Kiyaz Rabbanon bas ruba, you don't go bas ruba. If you want to sound very educated, if you know these words, somebody says go bas ruba. You say, well, is it Isa come on or Lesa come on? Everybody says, ooh, this guy knows how to learn. this guy Mamish knows how to learn, right? That's so.
Jacob, your mama just ruined it for me because I always thought I could do that when I just say go bust a rive. Now you want to go a step further.
Aaron, you're good. Bust a rive, you could be stamabala bus. You can say bust a rive, Lushai. But if you could say Ruba Disala, come on, Lessa, come on, it's Mamish something. Now, and the difference is very simple.
Jacob, I gotta leave something for the Adim to do to slug me up on. You know,
Jacob, don't we rely on Ruba the Lessa come on to chef the animals, to eat animals that are chefted?
Yeah.
So when do we rely on Ruba the Lessa come on?
Well, no, we go with Buster.
Who's the Rabbanan that don't go Buster Lessa come on?
Correct. Well, that's a Machlokes whether we go with Isa come on or Lessa come on. But it seems like we don't care. We go Buster Rive always. Aaron, so Ba'atzim, you're right. In the Maskonas Advarim, Rive is Rive, I think. Right? But the Gemara here is asking that there's a little difference, meaning when you have the case of, what's the classic case of Rive? You have 9 stores that sell kosher meat, and 1 store sells treifa meat. And now you can't remember which store you bought it from. So the assumption is you go Buster Rive. Right? But there's 10 stores in front of you. So that's a rive that's in front of you. Rive of lesser kamon would be a case here where, you're just saying rive women have babies. That's not in front of us, right? If you had 10 women in front of you, you said, okay, guess how many of these had babies. So you're going to assume that's a ruba de issa kamon. But here, this is ladies all over the world. That's called a ruba de lesser kamon. So
Jacob, this was pre Roe versus Wade also, so you can't just assume
that could be yeah. So
Bernard, I'm waiting for a reaction. Go ahead.
I could just shake my head because it's
that's a reaction.
We're expecting better. If you want to say something, expecting better. That's hanging out there like a big meatball, you know.
That's a lesser come on. That's a lesser come on, that joke. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, so Ruba the lesser come on lo yazirabana basaruba. But if it's a rive that's not in front of us, which is the case here, because you're just assuming that all women have babies or rive women have babies, so we don't go with it. So the Gemara asks on this or answers, Vare Katanu Katana, the Ruba the lesser come on he Katan Katana, which is the case we had a few times in Yevamos, is a rive that's not in front of us. Va'azirabana basaruba, and the Rabbanan go basa rive. What is that? The Tanya Katanu Katana. Right, so we said that Katan and Katana they can't do chalitza and they can't do yibum. Divi R Meir. Right, and so I the R Meir. So they said to R Meir, the Rabbanan who said that you could that a minor, both a male and female, can do chalitza and yibum. R Meir Yafa Amr she'ein chaltzin ish. We understand that a man cannot do chalitza because it's ksiba parshu umakshinon isha leish. And we make a hekesh between a man and a woman, right? So just like the woman needs to be a pas mitzvah to do chalitza, so the boy also has to be. And lamatam ein miyavim. Why can't a katan do yibum? So he said to them, R Meir said back to Rabbanan, katan shema yimtza saris. Maybe how do you know this katan's male to have kids? Right? Katana shema timtza islandess, and a katana you can't do yibum too because maybe she's going to be an islandess, and since they can't have kids, they shouldn't be doing yibum because the whole point of yibum is to have children. And if they can't have children, so you can't be mater and issa daraisa of marrying a sister-in-law. And then you're going to end up sleeping with an erba.
Why would that help? Why would that help when we say cut? We mean somebody that doesn't have shtei cyrus?
That would be part of it.
Or does it mean anyone this time can't have kids? Let's say you stop don't have kids. If it means both, then even a gadol should be a problem. Let's say a gadol can't have
right.
kids.
So the Gemara asks that. At what point? Right. We had a whole Gemara about this. Till 20. At what point do you say that he was an islandist? Lemafreya. Right. So how can the Gemara? It's this Gemara's kasha way back where somewhere in the depths of Yevamos is the Gemara's kasha.
We finished the daf. I can't be held accountable for that.
Me neither. But I know that's why I said it's in the depths of Yevamos somewhere. But I just remember that the Gemara discussed it. I don't remember where, what, how, but that's what it was. Yeah. For Rabbanon Savri, and the Rabbanon also R Meir says he's chayshish for the miyat because the minority people do become srisim and islanders. For Rabbanon Savri zil basaruba, go with the majority. Zul basaruba the katanim, v'roiv katanim lav srisininu. Go with the majority of katanim, and the majority of katanim are not going to be srisim. And still basarayv katanos, Right? Katanis love islanders ninu, and Roiv minors are not going to be, or females are not going to be islanders. Right? So you see clearly that we go with Roiv even when they're not in front of us, right? Because we're just saying most male minors will not be surisim, and most females will not be islanders. So that's lesser common. That's not in front of us. We're just saying that the majority, we go with the majority. So what the only way to say it is that our Mishnah is going according to R Meir. Fine. So we go on to the Seifa. So b'mayo kim to R Meir, you're saying our Mishnah goes like R Meir, who's chashish for the miyut. Okay, so then how come in the Seifa we're not chashish for the miyut? Right? Ema Seifa. What's the case in the Seifa? If he has a mother-in-law, we are not chashish that maybe the mother-in-law had a baby. Again, let's just paint the scenario. The husband who's a ben yachid without kids, he doesn't have kids from his wife, goes overseas with his mother, right? Then they find out that he died. So we're saying that she cannot get married. She could get married, right? Excusing myself. Yeah, she could get married. She could get married because her husband had no siblings, and the assumption is that her mother-in-law didn't have another baby. Right? That's what we're saying. So that means clearly because we're going with the chazaka. So let's see. So we should go with roiv nashim. The roiv nashim is obviously the oldest. Most women have babies. So why don't we say that the mother-in-law is going to have a baby, and now she does have a brother-in-law to do yibum. Miyat mapilas, and a minority have miscarriages. And anybody who has babies, so it's 50-50, right? So then you attach the miyut that have miscarriages to the 50 that have nekevus, miyuta. So the Scharim is a minority. So why don't we be chashid? If you're saying our Mishnah is like R Meir, so why don't we be chashid that this mother-in-law is going to have a baby boy, right? And if she has a baby boy, then this wife can no longer get married to anybody else because she's going to need yibum from this baby boy again.
Why don't we include the miyat that don't have it all with the nekevus? Invite you have 50-50. Like mechatesi to all of a sudden be smeich the miyuta of Mampilas to the Nekevus. What about the miyuta that don't have it all? Wouldn't that be matter, the miyuta that don't have it all? Where'd that miyut go? Seems like they said, let's take Rive Nashim that would be Misabres, and some are Mampilas, and we'll put that in the Nekevus. And Mamil, you have Rive again. Rive of Nashim have Zacharim. What about the miyut that doesn't have it all? That just got wiped away? Why doesn't that tilt it the other way again?
Miyut that doesn't have it all and
Vaiter be matter. Make it easy to say Rive does.
Well, because that is what the Mishnah is saying. The Mishnah is saying that
we're not worried for the Rive that does have Zacharim, right?
No, but
so the Gemara asked, make it easy not to be worried for that.
Yeah, but what do you want the Mishnah to do? What do you want the Mishnah to do? The Mishnah does
the Gemara right now is saying there's Rive Zacharim. How does the Gemara come out Rive Zacharim?
No, the Gemara is asking.
Right. How does the Gemara get a statistical Rive? So the Gemara says, well, it's in Hanami, you're right. There is Rive. It's 50-50. Rive women do have it, but it's 50-50 if it's gonna be Zachar and Keva. But take the miyut of women that do take the miyut of women that are mapel and put that to the Nekeva. So in a male, you still have Rive Zachar, and we should be patient. What about the miyut?
You have miyut. You always have miyut Zacharim. Miyut. The boys and girls are equal. Let's say this
because the Meir holds chashin on the miyuta.
I understand that. Right now, we're not even talking about chashin on the miyuta. We're talking about creating a rive.
No, we're going with miyut. We're going with miyut. We're asking according to R Meir. According to R Meir, you still have a miyut that's gonna have a baby boy. There's still a miyut. What you're saying, Akiva, is what the Mishnah paskins. We're asking that the Mishnah l'chayish miyut the other way. Right? We should be chayish the miyut the other way and say that she can't get married because maybe there's a miyut of a chance that there's a boy born. What you're saying is what the Mishnah is paskining. Anyway, so the Gemara is saying that we should be chayish the miyut and be machmer. Yeah.
Is this Gemara raya that in Hilchos Sfek Sveika works as a roiv, not as a 50-50 times 2.
Are you saying this is a Sfek Sveika?
Yeah, this is
Why
Sfek
isn't it a
Sveika,
Sfek
short
Sveika?
Sfek Sveika.
Yeah, the Gemara is treating it as Sfek Sveika
Rashi-
as a roiv.
The Rashi in the Mishnah says it's Sfek Sveika.
Right, but the Gemara is treating it as a roiv of cases, not as a classic Sfek Sveika. So Rishonim that hold that a Sfek Sveika equals a roiv of cases. That's how Sfek Sveika works. And is this a riot to them? Is what I'm asking.
I'm not sure. Okay.
Yaakov, what about the chash that maybe the mother-in-law gave birth after the husband died, and it's achashlaya balamai? Make it
I
a
never
third
thought
safek.
about that. That's a good.
You don't know. You don't
Taka.
know when she gave birth.
Even maybe she gave birth after her son died.
It was in the newspapers. She's Queen Elizabeth. It was in the paper, all the papers when she gave birth.
No, I know what I hear, but you're right. But that's an added suffix. That's a good question, Taka. It's a good question. Very good. Very good. I don't know. Okay, so anyway, so Gemara says v'leichush. So why Taka don't we be chayshish? So now, I mean, you get in. This is a lamdan's dream. This part of Gemara, right? No, because there's a chazaka that she's mutter to the shuk. So loy chayesh, we're not. So R Meir is not chayshish lemiyuta against the chazaka. Meaning the chazaka is that again, like we said, when this husband with his mother went overseas, right? So the chazaka was that she's gonna go free if her husband dies because he had no brothers and she had no. I mean, they had no kids, but he had no brothers. Now you want to go say we're going to be a chayshish for Mia to go against the chazaka? That's not true. So
wouldn't this be telling how you understand how yibum works? Is it the marriage that creates the yibum or the death that creates the yibum?
Yeah. You mean you want to take that Machlokes and put it in over here? How do you establish the chazaka? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I hear, and maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure when this chazaka gets established. When the boat leaves, when they buy a ticket, when exactly? Right? I don't know. Anyway, so Gemara says, but then the ratio, yibum to yavim. So in the ratio, she has a chazaka for yibum, right? When they left, she has a chazaka that she's going to need yibum. So why can't she get yibum? Ratio the issur koris chashashu. Ratio is an issur koris, right? Because she might do yibum. She may marry her brother-in-law, so it's an issur koris. Then we're chashish. Seifa the issur lav, but the seifa that's an issur lav, like chashashu, we're not chashish. So marava michti. Hadaraisa. They're both daraisas, meaning, yes, one is karis and Yevama Lashuk is a lav without karis, but Lamaisa, they're both daraisas. So how can you change it? Right? Mali Yisur karis, Mali Yisur lav. What's the difference if it's Yisur karis? What's the difference if it's Yisur lav? Elamarava, on Tommy Beis now. Reisha chazaka leyibum, viruba lashuk. In the Reisha, she has a chazaka. The chazaka, she's going to need yibum. And the Rav tells you that she's gonna. It's a chazaka that's yibum, and then the ruba is for the shuk that she's gonna be mutter to the shuk. The chazaka loy adif ki ruba, and a chazaka is not as good as a roiv. That's a big thing right there. Because chazaka is not as strong as a roiv. Right. So but Mela, since chazaka is not as strong as a roiv, so R Meir says we can't go with the majority. Let's see. The mapilas, some of the chazaka. So then we take a minority that miscarries, some of the chazaka, and you put it together with chazaka. So then it's 50-50, right? So then we're saying mamela, since it's a 50-50 chance, we don't know which way she's going to go. Is she going to be mutter to the shuk or is she going to mutter to the yibum? So therefore, we say she's an aguna for the rest of her life. She can't get married to anybody else. She can't do yibum either. But that's the ratio. Seifa, chazaka l'shuk. She has a chazaka. She's going to be mutter to the shuk. Viruba l'shuk, and she also has a roiv that it's going to go to the shuk. And a male would be a miyut of a miyut, because again we said that it's how do we say it's a miyut of a miyut? We said that
The nafel,
miscarriage,
girls and nafel.
Right. Right. So it's a miyuta, the lechayish R Meir. R Meir is not choishish for miyuta the miyuta. So therefore, in the Seifa, she could get married, and the Reisha, she can't get married. But there's a very interesting thing. It's a long Taisus and Amud Aleph about this. The Maisa, we know that the halacha is what goes with a stam Mishnah, right? And this Mishnah was a stam Mishnah. There's no man d'amrim, and this Mishnah is going like R Meir, right? So then l'chayra, we should have to paskin that stam Mishnah. We should paskin like R Meir. And the stam Mishnah is holding that we're choishish from miyuta, which we know we don't paskin like R Meir, right?
I mean, I obviously have no idea, but maybe there's other Mishnahs in Shas that have mandiamas that say that we go basaroy. We're not choishish from you. I obviously have zero idea.
Me too. But Lamaisa, you can learn the Taisus and make it like you have an idea. It's a big Taisus. But Lamaisa, Taisus goes with reasons and chulin why we don't pass them. But if you go on the surface of it, the Ma'aseh stam Mishnah is like R Meir, and we should have to pass them like that. We're choishish from miyuta. That would throw a lot of things in jeopardy, right? Including all of our children, right? If you choishish for the miyut, right? We only consider the father because of a roiv, right? Roiv bilasachar abal. It would really throw like the kids.
Maybe I don't want to venture to say it, so I'm not saying it, but R Meir's wife was Buria, right?
Correct.
And from the surface of what I learned, they didn't seem to get along.
I hear. Well,
maybe because he had this chash all the time, R Meir.
Well, that's how she died. That's how she died, right?
Yeah, every time she went to buy a container of milk,
it's choishish for the miyut. I hear. That would be a big chiddush to say.
But I'm not saying that. I'm just thinking it out loud. I'm not saying.
I hear. Okay.
Yeah, but where is it? How did the Gemara come up with this exact math that this is the miyuta when it comes to chazakas and reis?
I want
to know. Are we going back to like Ervin math over here?
Akiva, I was hoping you wouldn't crunch the numbers and say, okay,
it's not about crunching numbers. You're just throwing out chazakas and reis as if there's real numbers going on here.
Yes, I'm not.
Magic numbers.
I had it on Amud Aleph. I think I understood it. This last cheshbon, every time I do it, I think, 1 second, how is this working now? But I'm not the accountant. You're the accountant. So
this is an accountant. This is like Lumdisha. This is like Lumdisha math. If you have a chazaka with a raiv, it lowers it to miyuta.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, here it seems like it's treating a miyut as a sfek sveka. You could say that R Meir, when it comes to sfek sveka, it doesn't go with the miyut. Fine.
Well, it's saying mechza, so that's, I don't know if that's yeah.
Yeah, but it's the same idea. It's an even suffix. It's not a...
Yeah. Okay, so let's divide this. So then we said, she can't get married and she can't do yibum. So she's stuck. So the Gemara asked, she's stuck forever? So Amar Zeiri, no. For herself, she needs to wait 3 months. And then she can maybe move on and try and figure out what she's going to do with her life. But because of her chavar, Tisha, she needs to wait 9 months, because you have to wait 9 months that maybe her what do you call it? Her co-wife maybe had a baby. And then she could do chalitza memanoshach. Right? Meaning wait 3 months, wait 9 months, and then after that do chalitza, because memanoshach. If she needed yibum, so she got chalitza. If she didn't need yibum, so okay. So what is it going to hurt to do chalitza? Right now, why do you have to wait 3 months, 9 months? Why not do the chalitza? Why not just do the chalitza? Right? So that's I think it's Rashi. It's no, because we had the Gemara before that doing a chalitza. It's from this Gemara's Masha, doing a chalitza on a woman when there's a pregnancy going on is going to make the chalitza not chal. So even though she's not the one pregnant, but maybe when the other female is pregnant, so maybe the chalitza is not going to necessarily be required. Okay, so that's
wasn't the maskan of that Gemara that it was a gzeira according to Rabbi Gamliel?
Wasn't it
a gzeira?
I don't know if it'd be gzeira, just let her wait.
We don't know anything here. This would be a gzeira for a case where we do know. If we do know, so Gamliel says that doesn't work. Shema, they'll do something wrong. Here we don't know anything. We're saying it's Gzeira Atu, we did know,
Right.
which is itself Gzeira.
I'm not sure. Once they have too many words, Roiv, Chazaka, then I'm not going anywhere near Gzeira. Anyway, so that's the first pshat. Rabbi Chanina Amar la'atzma shloisha, al to herself she waits 3 months. L'chaverta la'olam, for chaver she waits forever. Right? So then what it says. So again, he holds, Rabbi Chanina right now holds that she takas on aguna forever. So Gemara asks on Rabbi Chanina, why can't she just do chalitza, and then she'll be fine? Right? What's the great loss? So Abaye Barav, Rabbi Chanina Barav, and Ami Tavayu Gzeira Shema Yehivlad Ben Kayama. No, because what happens if the baby that the co-wife had is going to live? Because you're going to have to tell everybody, all the Kayhanim, to tell her that she's back to being mutter to God. I mean, what's going to happen? What's the downside of chalitza? That she can't marry Kayhanim, right? So we're saying do chalitza, good. So she'll eliminate the Kayhanim from marrying, but at least she could be married right of Klaisa. Oh, but what happens if a son comes marching in and says, "Hey, I'm the son of your co-wife, so you never needed chalitza. So now what? You're gonna have to call out to all the Kayhanim that they can marry her from now on." Okay, which is interesting. So what? So Mamela, she shouldn't get married because of this? Because the son might come and then the Kayhanim are going to get confused? Very difficult to understand. Okay, but then it says, okay, so then let's announce
the Kayhanim I know are not so easily confused.
Right, that's true, right? I'm saying, right, and then it says, good, so we'll take out an ad in the paper. No, let's say a son comes marching home. So we'll take an ad out in the paper. No, no, because maybe there was one that was by the chalitza. The kohen was there by the chalitza, and he's not there by the announcement. Then he's gonna think that Memela, oh, this woman had chalitza, and the rabbis are letting him get married to a kohen. Givaldik. So now I'm a kohen. I'll go marry every chalitza, right? So that's why we don't even let her do chalitza, and she needs to stay chalitza, and she needs to stay in aguna for the rest of her life, right?
Which
it's wild.
Ultimately, is an issa d'rabbanan. Chalutza l'koyin.
Yes, it's the way we pass it's the rabbanon. Yes, you're right. It makes the question stronger.
Yeah.
Yes, it's wild. It's wild because some idiot kohen, I'm sorry to say, at least I think he's an idiot, is going to learn out that somebody who had chalitza, the rabbis let her get married to a kohen. So because this Eisfar missed the announcement, therefore, according to Reb Chanina, this lady's on aguna for the rest of her life. And we're taking Eid Echad for agunas, and we're taking Noshim for agunas, and Psulei Eidus for agunas. And this guy, because of this one guy, it's wild. It's wild. Okay.
Why can't we let her make that decision, though? Meaning, so she'll only be restricted to why can't she say, okay, I won't marry a Kohen?
Yeah, why couldn't they make that gezerah that she'll never marry a Kohen?
Make the gezerah that she's out from Kayhanim always, even if you're right. I hear, doctor. I hear what you're saying. You're saying just okay. You know what? You can do this. You can get married, but you never let her marry a Kohen. Even
so it has to be all or nothing. Like why?
Yeah. You're right. It's very difficult to understand. Doctor, you see if you come up with anything on Sefaria, please. Right? Anyways, fine. Tanan. Then the Gemara asked, Tanan, Nitan Li Ben in Medina Sayyam, right? If she got a son in Medina Sayyam, this is yesterday's daf. She went overseas and she says, I had a son. And then she says, Meis Bini, and she says that my son died and then my husband died, which means that she needs yibum. So Nemenes, she's believed. So Rashi says, why is she believed? Because she could have just kept her mouth shut and said, my husband died and finished. But she didn't. She said that she had a son, and then she said she had a son, and then he died, whatever. So therefore, she's believed on the whole thing. Right? Meis Baili, but if she says my husband died first and then my son, which means now she's free to go to marry anybody she wants, then Ein Nemenes, she's not believed. Right? Why? Because again, she had a chazaka that she was going to need yibum. Now she's coming back and changing the chazaka, so that doesn't work. But we are chayshish for her words, so therefore we don't let her go get married to anybody. So she does chalitza and she doesn't do yibum. Okay, so the Gemara says, "V'leichush dilma asu eidim." Why aren't we concerned that no, maybe eidim going to come? V'amri k'dekambra. Maybe they're going to come and say, you know what? We saw the husband die. Because you're saying give her chalitza al tzafik, right? So now eidim going to come, and then we're going to have to say, oh, she didn't need chalitza. She's mutter to marry a kohen, right? And now we're going to have to make an announcement. So how come we're not choshesh for that? And we just say she does chalitza, and then she can marry whoever she wants. So Rav Papa, big Rusha. Rav Papa says a teretz that it's talking about for a grusha, right? Meaning she was divorced before, so she was out from Kaihanim, which is really Doctor and Akiva. That's really your kasha. Like, why don't we just say she's out from Kaihanim in the first place, right? Rav Chia Breider Rav Huna Amar. Rav Chia Breider Rav Huna says be'amra ani v'hu nechbanu b'ma'ara. It's me and my husband were hidden in a cave, and there was nobody possibly ever going to be able to testify exactly which way the things went and which way they didn't go, and therefore she's therefore there's no chashash edim going to come, so there's no chashash for chorus. That's my niece, okay? It's my niece. If anybody's wondering, I don't start up with nieces, especially when they're from Lakewood. Fine, okay. Yeah, Zog the Mishnah. Yeah, Shtei Yevamos. So you have, now we go with continuing these cases. Now you have 2 Yevamos, right? Meaning, and Rashi says it's 2 wives that married 2 wives that married 2 brothers. So Shtei Yevamos, Zu Meres Meis Bali. This one says that my husband died. Zu Meres Meis Bali. So they both said that their husband died. Now, when you have to stop and think about this for a little bit, it took me a while to get this, but I think I got it. But then when I open my mouth, I hope I'll get it again. It's one of these things that you keep thinking about it, but once you get it, you get it. So again, we said they're tzaras, right? These people are tzaras. Yeah. So Mamela, they're not believed on each other, but they're believed on themselves. Right. So again, you have 2 women, 2 wives, married to 2 brothers, and they both come back and said that our husbands died. So they're believed out themselves, so they should be able to get remarried. But the problem is that they also had a brother who's supposed to do yibum. So on that, they're not believed on each other that brother also died. Meaning these are the only 2 boys, right? Shh, you have to be quiet, okay? Again, there's two brothers. There are only 2 brothers that are there. They both wives are saying that they died. So on the wives on themselves are believed, but they're not believed on the Yevamos. So Memela, we believe that their husbands died. We don't believe that his brother died. So Memela, they're stuck. Zu assur mipnei ba'ila shel zu. This one's also because of the baal of this one. Zu assur mipnei ba'ila shel zu. And this one's also because of this baal. Right? That's case number 1. Yeah, that's the base. Yeah. Again, it's fairly straightforward.
If you're believing that the guy's dead, the guy's dead is dead. Can't be half dead.
Naftali, that building that we let the Chacham get away with it, the Mishnah last spot, so they made a bigger case. Where the guy said the Tzara, he's dead for the wife, but for the Tzara is a wife too. He's not dead for her. So they got away with that, so they pushed the envelope now.
They're pushing it too far.
What?
It's not pushing the envelope. It's the same exact thing.
We're splitting the David.
No,
No,
you're
it's
right.
not.
You're right.
You're pushing it too far because you would let her marry a stranger.
No, she's believed out her husband.
On her husband.
She's not believed on her husband's brother.
But the other one's standing right next to him and believed on her husband also.
I don't think you have to come on to
the sister's right there at the same bezdin on her husband.
What?
The sister's right there.
Correct, but she's believed on her husband.
And she's believed on her husband. So both ways, both brothers are dead. They're believed.
But only from each person.
Correct.
So that doesn't work.
Naftali, I think, tell me if I'm explaining it right. They're believed on the Mishimaguna Kilu Barabanan. So we believe them on that, but we don't believe them on Yevama. You understand? I mean, this.
I understand what he's saying. I understand
You're
what he's saying.
saying,
But
you're
at the
saying that
but
the
at the end of the day,
Matthias is
Reuven and Shimon are both dead.
You're saying if the Matthias is dead, then
Right.
no. The Matthias, we don't know what the Matthias are, but the halacha lets you remarry. The halacha lets them remarry when it comes to
But they don't let them remarry.
The halacha is not letting you do yibum. Gershon, am I saying it right?
Yeah, you said
Yeah,
it
I
right.
think, can we bring in the halacha l'maisa? If she had kids who were older than bar mitzvah, would they say kaddish? Would they daven for Amud?
I don't understand. Halacha l'maisa. If they had kids, she would get remarried.
If she had an
No,
uncle,
forget about yibum. No shaykhs.
Gershon, if she had an uncle, would he have liked potato kugel? Why don't you say that? That fits better. No.
Can they say kaddish?
What is one after the other? She believed that her husband died.
She's
Why would they
believed
say
that he's
kaddish?
dead, so his kids
Right.
say
So why would they
kaddish.
say kaddish? Why would they
But
say
she's
kaddish?
not
real
believed.
Nemanis.
She's not believed
Not
on her
real
brother-in-law.
Why
You
would they
need
say
her to
kaddish?
say that her brother-in-law died, and you don't have that. You don't have the belief on that.
When it says zu assur, it means zu assur forever? No. They could do chalitza.
What?
The brother's
There's
not
nobody-
there to do
There's
chalitza.
no one there to do
There's
chalitza.
nobody
There's
there.
no husbands. They're
There's
dead.
no
They're
third
dead.
brother? I mean, there's no third brother here.
There's no third brother. The next case in the Mishnah, later in the Mishnah, there's a third brother. Right now, there's no third brother. So it's down and out. Yes, so these are all cases of Aguna. Now the Mishnah goes. Now, once we understand that case, the rest of the Mishnah is fairly easy. Luzu Eidim, Luzu Ein Eidim. Right? This is really another one of these. It's a joke. I mean, it's not a joke, but it's a sad joke. One of them comes with Eidim that her husband died. Luzu Ein Eidim, and the other one comes without Eidim. Okay, so it's great. So one actually comes with Eidim and is listening to the way the halacha is. So Eshayeshla Eidim Asura, the one that brings the Eidim, she's stuck for the rest of her life because she has to rely on the Eidus from her co-wife, which her co-wife is not Nema. The S Shein La Eidim Muteris, the one that didn't bring Eidim, right? So she's believed for her husband, and she has Eidim that her brother-in-law died. So Amela, she's good, right? So man, we had this whole suffix. Maybe Tzaras hate each other. So this lady obviously had no idea what she was doing because she's actually, by bringing Eidim, she's actually helping her co-wife and not helping herself. Right? And then the same case, the next case. Lezu banim, lezu ein banim. This one has kids, and this one does not have kids. Esheyesh labanim muteris. The one that has kids is going to be mutter because she's the other one's there's going to be out of yibum. So it has nothing. It makes no difference to her whether her brother-in-law is alive or not. She has kids. But the one that doesn't have kids is assur because then she has to rely on the testimony of her co-wife, which doesn't work. Then the last case. Now this case we're talking about where there are two other brothers. So there's four brothers. Okay, two women marry two brothers, and there's two other brothers, and they did yibum, right? Like Yzev, like you were saying. Again, they went overseas. The two brothers. Everybody came back and said they died. Fine, they have two brothers that are two other brothers. They do yibum, givaldik. Now they died. So now we have no idea. You have the same shaila again. Can they go get married to anybody else? Maybe we don't believe the original Eidos. So misyavu mesu hayibum, and then the yibum die. Assuras say they're assur to get married. Rabbi Elazar says no. Since they became mutter to marry, which means this naftali is for you. Since we believed them to get married to the brothers-in-law, then we believe them forever, even though l'chayra, once those two brothers die, the whole original shaila should come back. Right? Again, Rabbi Elazar, right? Fine. Then just two lines in the Gemara, and then Tana lezu eidim ubanim lezu loy eidim v'loy banim. Let's say one has eidim and has kids, and the other one has no eidim and no kids. Then they're both mutter. Right? This is a riddle. Right? This is a riddle. Meaning one has eidim and has kids. So then that works for the other wife, and the other one has no eidim and has no kids. Then that works for the other wife because if you're mamad of shach, you're good on either end. Right. Okay. So we'll stop here because the next sugya goes for a while. All right. There's a chance I might have to do a little earlier or a little later tomorrow night. I'll let the olim know throughout the day, depending on what's going on. Yeah. All right. Fine. Have a fine night.
So, you ever heard of Schrodinger's cat?
Gershon.
What?
You don't know that joke? I said to you, it's such a geschmacka joke. You don't know the joke?
Which one?
It's a Chassidish bacher. He's going his first date. He's never spoken to a girl in his life. He speaks to his mother. He doesn't have any sisters. He never spoke to a girl ever in his life. So he's asking the bacher, his friends, what do I? They said food, family, philosophy. Food, family, philosophy. That's what we talk about. So he meets the girl. He says, "What's the name of your uncle?" She says, "I don't have any uncles." Now he's out. He doesn't know what to do. So he says to himself, "Food, philosophy." He says, "If you had an uncle, would he have liked kugel?" Food, family, philosophy.
There you go. That's. I didn't hear that you made that. You made that reference to that joke.
Now I get the reference. I didn't know the joke.
You didn't know the joke,
Aaron. What? I never heard that. No, Aaron.
Yeah.
These Mishnayos are why no Yid has ever been misspelled from Schrodinger's cat. Everyone learned Yevamos in yeshiva. This is Schrodinger's cat. She's dead.
Whatting his cat? What?
Isn't his name Schrodinger? The guy is a philosopher. He
Schrodinger's
put a cat in a box, a live cat in a box. According to philosophy, the cat is now both alive and dead.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know.
This is the original.
Okay, very good.
Both alive and dead.
I hear.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, can I ask you a question on the tweet if we're not recording?
You can do it for recording.
Okay. So sometimes I've asked you like community situations and you tell me